Hello, and welcome to another episode of Fibre Mates. My name is Gay. I'm a part-time technical editor for knitwear patterns based in Melbourne. And you have found my channel where I normally interview individuals involved in the Australian fibre community. And from time to time, like today, I will bring you episodes of what I've been working on. So today will follow a more traditional format of what I've finished, what's on my needles, maybe a bit of plans. I haven't fully planned out this episode. I wanted to just hop on while I had a few minutes to talk about some knits because I've got some exciting finished objects for you. Before I go any further, I want to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land that I'm recording, the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, and pay my respects to their elders past and present. I want to first welcome all, if you're a returning viewer, I'm so happy that you have come back to spend some time with me, and I hope that my knits provide inspiration and or for your making. And if you are new to the channel, welcome. You are very welcome in this community that we are cultivating here. And gosh, we've got a lot going on, I think, between the Cal that I'm hosting with Karina from Louie and Lola Yarns. Don't forget your projects, especially all of the Bendigo projects that we'll talk about later. Or they would qualify for our 2025 Love Locale, and that's locale with a K or a C because I'm not personally a crocheter yet. We'll see, maybe by the end of the year. I said that about spinning last year. I'm still not really spinning, even though I love to spin. Anyway, I'm digressing. But the Cal, so make sure that you tag Karina and myself on Instagram, any posts, and we also have a Ravelry thread for talking about what we're working on, and there's a finished object thread in Ravelry as well, because every month we've had amazing prizes, and those have been donated by Karina, and we've had prizes from Amba, all of the Bendigo designers. That was the prize for last month. Anyway, it's been really fun. This episode is coming out in April, and our theme this month is texture. So if you've got some textured projects on your needles that are designed by an Australian and New Zealand designer, and are made with Australian or New Zealand wool, they will qualify for the Love Locale. Great. And then the second thing we've got going on is the Bendigo projects. Those are designs by a group of local designers, and so that's Susanna Kartinen from Sana & Co. She's designed the Sunda sweater and the Four Winds scarf. There's Vera Marcoux from Vera Loves Knitting, who has designed the long Paddock jumper. And there is Tess Vandercock, who has, from Fluff and Nonsense, who has designed the Fibonacci cowl. And Kath Martin from Kath Martin Designs. She's also Mindful Melbourne Maker on Instagram and Ravelry. No, Kath Martin Designs on Ravelry, sorry. And she has designed the Bendigo socks. So maybe that's where we'll start, because I have finished my long Paddock jumper. Isn't she a beauty? I haven't blocked this yet, so you'll see that the ribbed section is still quite pinched in, and that will, I'll pin that out when I block it. But I couldn't wait to sew in the ends, because if you've been watching for a long time, you know I cannot. It's one of the tasks that I just always end up putting in the too hard basket, which is weaving in the ends and blocking. Sometimes well, I generally will always wear my socks first without blocking them. I have some sweaters that I have never blocked other than maybe just running a quick steam iron over them. Anyway, it's not a task that I love, so I tend to put it off. This one though, I think I'm going to have to get on the blocking mat, maybe even this afternoon. It is unseasonably warm. You'll see I'm not wearing any knitwear, but it's, I think, meant to be a top of 28 degrees today and a top of 30 degrees tomorrow. So that's quite unusual for Melbourne at this time of year, but what it means is that the garments will dry faster, hopefully. Now, this knit was utterly addictive. When I first started, I miscounted the stitches for each of the sides. So I ended up having one side that was too many stitches. I can't remember which one it was. And I had to rip back like a whole chunk of rows. And I just remember I unpicked them. I didn't just rip the needle out and frog it. I unpicked them one by one because this yarn is amazing. It is so soft. In fact, that's what it's called. I have an extra skein left over, and I'll talk about that in a minute, but it's called OMG. It's so soft. It's produced by Fibre Naturally. Hi, Gail and Robert. I love their yarn. It is 65% alpaca, 20% cashmere, and 15% merino. It is 100% Australian. It's certified by the Australian Fibre Collective. It cannot get more local. Gail's mill is, I don't know, maybe an hour's drive from here, from where I live in Melbourne at least, around quite a bit, so I couldn't actually make it out to the mill to pick it out myself. But this yarn, I literally cannot say more about it. It is, Gail's done a great job spinning it. It's very even. It has made the most beautiful, fluffy, squishy fabric, and the pattern called for 6 skeins for, I think I made a size 3. It called for 6 skeins of yarn, and I have an entire skein and this chunk left over. So the yardage, I reckon it's it says it's approximately 200 meters, but I reckon there's probably more yardage than, or meterage, than that in the actual skein. I was talking to Vera about it, and she reckons because the cashmere is so light that it's just gone further. But I couldn't be happier with it. Should I try it on for you? Because it's just so, oh, I cannot wait to wear it. I won't be able to leave it on for a while. The sleeves are fitted. I'll talk to you about some of the modifications that I made to the pattern. I wanted a more cropped version to wear with skirts. So I've put a bit less length in the ribbing here. See, that will come out. That's doing really well actually now that it's sitting on. I did, I think, 8 centimeters of ribbing. The actual pattern I think calls for about 12 centimeters of ribbing, and I just wanted it to sit a little bit higher on my hips than the sample that I had actually tried on when I was out in Sydney back in December. The other modification was the sleeve pickup. So I did the sleeve pickup in a way that I didn't really pay attention to the number of stitches I was picking up. as I did it, I just wanted it to be a nice dense join, so there weren't any gaps. I find a lot of times you get like that little hole in the sleeve around here, and I didn't want that. So I just picked up as many stitches as I thought was necessary, and then I had a count, and I figured out how many extra stitches I had, and then I just knit 2 together in a fairly even distribution of decreases in that first knit row. And I don't think you can really see them, and it's made for a really the sleeve pickup is very, there's no holes in it at all, and I'm super happy with it. It gave me a little bit more, maybe a little bit more room in the underarm as well. But I love the fitted sleeve. It is so warm and cozy. I think I'm gonna get a lot of wear out of this jumper. It's fabulous, and I cannot wait to see everyone else's versions as they fly off of needles. I knit on this sweater. It was almost the only thing I knit on, but I probably finished it in 3 weeks. Like, it was a quick knit for a garment, because it's been off the needles for a few days now. I just absolutely loved it. The next finished object I want to talk to you about has been off my needles for close to a year, if not a year. It was a secret test knit that was embargoed, so I couldn't talk to you about it at all last year. And then we weren't quite sure what was happening, but the publication is now published. The patterns are in the universe, and now I can talk to you about the finished object, which is this amazing vest designed by Susanna Kartinen, called the Usva vest. Published in Amirisu. It's a publication called Assemblage Volume 1, or Assemblage maybe, I'm not sure. And the vest itself comes down to about my mid calf. I think maybe my row gauge was a little bit long. The construction is from the bottom up. You start by making these panels. There's ribbing at the bottom, and then the lace panel starts. You make the lace panels and then you join them all together, and you've got the whole body. Knit that up, and then the backs and the fronts are worked flat separately. I've got some Surrey alpaca, I think, in my nose, sorry. The fronts and the back are knit flat and then joined back up at the shoulder. I think if I recall correctly, because I've made this so long ago, it was I was part of the test knit group that Susanna ran for this vest. And the yarn is spectacular. Here's my swatch. It's my little swatch, isn't it great? The yarn, sorry about the crinkling, is called Flutter, and it was from Amirisu. The composition is insane. It is 65% baby Surrey, 17% merino, and 18% silk, and it is 100% fluff. It is, I figured out it was 350 meters per 100 grams. So to us, that's normally like a heavy fingering or a lighter sport weight yarn. But I think it kind of knits up a bit thicker than that. And I was wearing this, I wore it to work the other day because it looks great with black pants and a black turtleneck, and it's just very dramatic. And I was walking and the sun was shining and in my shadow you could see the intricate lace reflecting off the pavement, and it was, I really wish I had stopped to take a picture of it because it was quite beautiful to see that reflection in the asphalt. I'm not sure what it was about it, but the lace pattern is spectacular. I would love to see Susanna do some more garments with this particular patterning, because I think it's, you can see it, it is lace, but it's quite structural with and it's very much in this style of Susanna's, like, kind of architecturally inspired designs. It's just a real stunner. I might put in some elastic thread to try and bring these armholes up a little bit. I'm just worried that over time they'll stretch out a little bit more. I would 100% knit with this yarn again. It was pretty spendy to get, I recall, at the time, but it's just a dream to hold. And then after my experience with the long Paddock and the knitting with that, the softness, that tactile experience, I think is really quite grounding. When you're knitting, you can stop every few minutes and just kind of feel that. It's another way to bring yourself out of your mind and into your into, I guess, kind of your senses, activating that sense of touch. And I find that really bringing a more meditative kind of experience to my knitting. So yeah, the Usva vest, Amirisu Assemblage, if we fancy, volume 1. Right, now I have another finished object, which I am going to count as finished. I'm gonna count as finished, even though I haven't woven in the ends, because again, this will just get into my weaving pile. But here they are. They're not blocked because I never block my socks until after I wear them. But these are the Apple Isle socks by Kath Martin Designs. They are knit in Louie and Lola, and we just want to get the 5th birthday party. It was a sock set that Karina did last year to celebrate the 5th birthday of Louie and Lola. And here's the skein. It's just, the colors, they are really birthday party-ish. So here are the other, I know I've got the other one here. It's just under, here it is. These beautiful fluoros. That pink, look at that's crazy blowing out right now. Sorry, we'll just leave it under there. But the set goes so well together. There's no real pooling at all. You can't really see it with the rib, even on the video. So sometimes I see pooling a bit more when I see the colors on camera. And there's just little chunks of color, not the kind of big swaths of pooling. Modifications I did. I love a long sock, especially in winter. I want the sock to go or to be higher than my boots. I wear standard Blundstone boots quite a bit in the wintertime. And I like my socks to be able to go up over the top of my boots. So I extended the leg. I think the pattern calls for 3 stripes, and so I just doubled it, added 6. Still have plenty of yarn left over. So the skein is generous. The yarn is 75% Superwash Merino, 25% Nylon. It was 425 meters in the 100 gram skein, so That was a real, that's real generous meterage for a fingering weight yarn, which is nice because I might have enough to do another project that's coming up. It's currently in testing, or the test for it is about to start. Anyway, that will be announced soon. You'll see. Get excited for it. Get around local designers. Get around local yarn dyers. I'm here for that. What else about these socks? Oh, it had a shadow wrap heel. It's the first time I've done that heel construction, and I really liked how that looked, and I thought it was quite fun to achieve. It looks really good, I think. What else? I think that's it. I'm looking forward to wearing these, but I do need to weave in the ends, but you know, we'll just plop them in that pile, and we'll get to that as soon as I can. There's no rush. I realized I forgot to talk about the names of the colors of the yarns. So for long Paddock, I think that OMG It's So Soft only comes in two natural colors, which is this gray, and there's like a more creamy, a lighter creamy kind of sandy oatmeal color. I was thinking they would actually make a really good kind of color work or striped sweater, so I'm keeping that in mind as well. So that was the color for that one. The Usva vest in the Amirisu Flutter, I think the colorway is called Beetroot, and it is just this deepest, coolest red, and again, oh, I love this color, this yarn. I might have to make a beret or something with my leftovers. I'll have to think on that. I'm pretty sure I have enough. Pretty sure. So, that's it for the whips. But I've been calculating the meters out versus meters into my stash this year to try and knit more than I collect. Now, I love all my yarn, but I think it's a common experience for stashes to sometimes be a bit overwhelming. So I've been trying to do this to be a bit more conscious about my purchases, even though I love all the pretty squishy things and generally won't deny myself, but it's just kind of fun to keep track and see what see how I go. Anyway, the long Paddock took 944 meters. The Usva vest was 801 meters, and excuse me, the socks, the Apple Isle socks, were 335, almost 336 meters. So that is a grand total of 2,081.25 meters knit since I last did one of these episodes, and I think that's a pretty good effort. I'm pretty happy with that. The Usva vest, well, that was knit last year, but we're gonna count it now because it's the first time I've been able to share that finished object with you, and it bolsters my numbers. And look, these are rules that I've imposed on myself, and I'm the only one that needs to, I can make them and I can break them. Anyway, that's fine. So let's talk about some whips. My first whip that I'll show you, I'm just going to touch on it briefly because I feel like it might have been in the same state. I can't remember how much progress I've made, but I have made quite a bit of progress on my Salty Days sweater. This is a pattern from Kutova Kika, who is, I think, a Finnish knitwear designer. Gosh, this yellow is just getting everywhere. Put that over there. I started this sweater when Haley from Haley's Space and Morgan from Morgan Unraveled started a knit along, and I thought, you know what, I am gonna do that. I love the sweater, is beautiful. I found this, I had this mohair in my stash, and I picked up this fingering weight to hold with it, and it's been it was a bit of a test because I think the yarn is written, the pattern is written for a yarn that's significantly, or that's slightly heavier than the DK weight that I think this is giving me, but I've tried it on, it fits. I have finished the body. I have not bound off the hem. I wanted to put the collar on as well as one or two of the sleeves before I finalize the hem. In the event that the collar and the sleeves bring it up, I might make it a little bit longer, but width-wise, it has the perfect fit that I wanted. I wanted it just boxy, and a lot of Kutowa Kika's patterns are very oversized, and I do love that look, but for this, I wanted it slightly more, slightly less positive ease, and I achieved that by using the smaller yarn, and I've gone up a size. I think I'm making a size 3 when really I would have made a size 2 to achieve the same look with a chunkier yarn. I'm so pleased how it's turning out. The color is amazing. It is a combination of, this is half baked hand dyed in the Colourway. Hold on, I have a ball band right here. I will find that. I have a ball band called Pillow Talk. I knew it was like something cute and clever. Pillow Talk, and this is Prosper Mint, their mohair silk blend, and this is in the Colourway, I think it's called Maud. Let me confirm that. Yes, Maud. So their mohair silk is a 70-30 blend, so it's very, very soft. I wouldn't say it's as soft as Isair mohair silk, which is, I think, the softest one that's available to us in Australia, but it is really soft and a beautiful yarn, and together Pillow Talk and Maud are making an amazing color. I got inspired to pick this back up after having lunch with some friends, one who has lots and lots and lots of whips, a whip for every mood, and the other friend can only really have maybe 2 projects going at a time. And I thought, let me try that. Let me try having less whips. So I thought I would have a whip down, because this year really is meant to be all about local designers and local projects. So I know it's not, it's a bit, this project is a little bit outside that. I did start it last year, but it's part of my whip down. So I'm gonna keep going. I've got, I think, one or two more rows of the neck, and this is a folded neckband, but what in the pattern it calls for the neck to be bound off and then sewn down. I like to do a 3-needle bind off with folded collars. I just find that it's a bit easier for me. You can, if you have a spare circular needle, you can just thread it through where you want the collar to fold over to, and then kind of take it from there. I love a folded neck, and this is going to be very cozy. And the one thing about the yarn choice that I've done is that it's also quite light. Anyway, I think you should also check out Haley's and Morgan's podcasts. They both have podcasts, and I don't know, can we ever have too many knitting podcasts? I don't think so. I think we can get inspiration from everywhere and from everyone, and yeah, it's just, I love knitting. Anyway, yeah, so that's my salty days. Hopefully, hopefully this will be done in the next few weeks, so I'll get to wear it this winter. Salty days. The next WIP I want to share with you is a new one. I don't think I've shared it on the podcast before. I kind of wish I had put it on a, oh, maybe I've got a stitch holder. I do. I have one in here. I got a whole heap of new stitch holders. These came in this massive pack from Sadness Garn that are available at Calico and Ivy. And they are fantastic. I really, really like them. So here is the project. It's called the Around Every Corner shawl. It's by Stephanie Lotvin of Telly Bean Knits. She is the designer who put together the sweater, the jumper that uses self-striping sock yarn on the sleeves. So I just want this to spread out on the cord a bit so you can see it. Maybe I'll start talking about the yarn while I finish this off. It's made with Fluff and Nonsense. It's Tess's, I think it's, yeah, BFL, Platinum BFL sock base. So it's 4-ply, and it's 75% Superwash Blue Face Leicester and 25% nylon. It's feels like it's a super hardworking yarn. It's not like Merino single softness, but it's quite soft. It's definitely next to skin soft. Like, it's not crunchy or anything, but it's just, you can tell it's not Merino, and I quite like that about it because it's different, right? It's not your it's not the, oh, look at this, there we go. Sorry, I'm just saying it's not your ordinary yarn, and I like that it's different. Tess, excuse me, I'm still having some fluff up my nose. Tess had a club this year, I think, to try out different breeds of sheep, and I think that's such a good idea. It's so fun to knit with something other than Merino. We're spoiled with Merino in Australia, but I've really been enjoying exploring other fibers. Anyway, here is the Around Every Corner shawl. I'm making this with one of Tess's mini sets. This mini set was, I think it says Colourway is Succulent Light Earth. And I suppose it is very much, the other colorway is Flamboyance. So perhaps the solid color is the Light Earth, and the sock set is, or the mini skein set is in Flamboyance. And it's just these beautiful kind of flamingo pinks in a different, intensities. And the final color is this a little bit more coppery pink. You can see it better in this skein. Here's part of it. And I just love how these colors play with the earthy color. And it's been really fun. It is all knitting, so garter stitch. So perfect TV or knitting for watching the footy. And I am making this for a friend who was recently diagnosed with breast cancer, and I just want her to have A, something pink, and B, to know that she is loved and appreciated and cared for. And I actually like the name of the shawl for that purpose as well, because you never know what's around the corner. Yeah, I'm looking forward to continuing to work on this project. I'm almost, the original pattern, some modifications. The original pattern has 6 of these checks, or 6 of the stripes, but my sock set only had 5 colors. So what I've done is I've figured out about how many rows were in each of the checks, and then added just a few rows to each of the 5 checks that I've got, so they're a little bit wider than the original pattern. But I think my meterage will be fine for the border as well, because there's a border in this natural color. I bought the yarn at Maker Store, my local yarn shop, and I'm having a really good time with this shawl. It's actually the first time that I've knit something with minis other than adding minis to like a sock. So I'm really enjoying it, and I feel like there is more mini skein inspiration in my future for things other than socks, sock toes and sock heels. I've always kind of seen minis as being on the sidelines, and here they're taking center stage, and I'm really enjoying that, and I'm really enjoying how this is coming out. So yeah, I'm loving this project. The Around Every Corner shawl by Stephanie Lotven. My final whip that I want to share with you is, and we're coming back circling back to the Bendigo project, because these are my Bendigo socks. I am absolutely loving how they're coming out. It's interesting to see them on the camera and how that is looking. I'm knitting them with a mini set from my creative garage. It's called this Sequins Hot Pink Fade. It is there were 5 skeins in this set. 75% Superwash Merino, 25% Nylon, and 100% fun. Look at these speckles. The cabling design is a little bit obscured by the speckling, but I don't mind that so much because it's been really fun to knit these. As with other speckled yarns, every so often there's like a little pop of color, and it's really, really fun. I did a 2x2 ribbed cuff, and I've knit the first color, and I've started to, and you can see how that's starting to get a bit darker. It looks like a stripe, but it's not. I'm putting in the second colorway now as I approach the end of the repeats before the heel. So balled up, those are the first 2 colors, and then the final color is even darker again. Now the other colors are the pink and this navy blue, and I will stripe those in the heel as called for in the pattern, and then I'll knit the toe in the navy blue. They're going to be amazing, and the pattern is, well, the pattern's been released. Didn't know why I was thinking it was still not released. Anyway, the pattern's out. People are making absolutely beautiful socks, and I can't wait to share all of the Bendigo sock love when we are in Bendigo in July. I'm so looking forward to that trip, and staying with my friends again and having what is effectively a little mini knitting retreat. It's just going to be so much fun, and even more fun because we have these shared makes. So I hope you are really embracing the Bendigo patterns. Please let me know in the comments what you've been making and with what yarn, if there's anything really fun that you've either learned or experienced with these patterns, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. So yeah, the Bendigo socks, really fun. I bought this yarn last year in Bendigo, so it's nice to be knitting these up within a year. I wish I could say that about all my Bendigo purchases, but never mind that. I've got some beautiful yarn in my collection. And that brings me to acquisitions. I have 3 acquisitions to share with you today. I recently went to the Yarra Valley Wool and Craft Show out in Morro Bark, which is, I love that show. It's kind of a kickoff for fiber festivals, like the year of fiber festivals in our local area. And I went with my friends Kath Martin and Amber O'Brien came up actually for it, and we all hung out. And thank you if you came up and said hello to us on the day. It was really fun to get to meet people and pick out some fantastic yarns, which I did. So, of course, basically any festival, yarn festival where Danny from Half Baked Hand Dyed is vending is the first stop, because A, her self-striping yarns are amazing, and B, they always sell out. So if you want the best selection of colors, you've got to hit Danny up early. Now, I had to have a Hot Jam Donut. That is the colorway of this self-striping yarn because of well, Hot Jam Donuts at Bendigo and the experience that I had last year with them. We just had so much fun. This is the DK sock yarn. It's 75% Superwash Merino, 25% Nylon. Again, 100% fun. This set came with these 2 coordinating minis, and I may or may not make the Bendigo socks with this. I might just make a I think Kath's DK weight sock, vanilla sock pattern is called the Canberra socks, and I'm actually thinking to make these into Canberra socks. Would that be a bridge too far? I don't know. I love these self-striping yarns. And I just want the stripes to shine, so I might, anyway, existential crisis. I'll have that later about what to make with these, but for now, it's enough that they're in my stash. And I couldn't not pick up this color. How beautiful are these pinks? This is a 4-ply, and this one is, the color is Dodie, and it just literally has all the pinks, and I don't know that I need to say any more about it. What I'll make, I'm not quite sure, but it's just all the pinks. Again, 75% Superwash Merino, 25% Nylon. Danny's sock yarn's really hard working, and I've got another pair that I made last year I've been wearing, and they haven't filted, and I really like them. The other, or my last acquisition is also self-striping yarn, and this is from Heather Made. This is, I'm pretty sure, yeah, DK sock. That's exactly what I wanted, because last year I made a pair of Hobart socks. I was working on them while I was in Bendigo, and I realized that I made them too small, so I ended up having to gift them, and I had made them in this colorway called Cherry Berry. Sorry, the Hobart socks are again by Kath Martin. And I was so happy that she still had this colorway and I could get another ball of it, and now I can make another pair of the Hobart socks, but in my size. Anyway, I'm loving The colorway is Cherry Berry, and it's got reds, it's got pinks, it's got purples, and again, 100% fun. So really, Mural Bark was all about the self-striping. I otherwise showed great restraint because there was a lot of other yarn acquisition opportunities that I wanted to take, but I knew the projects that I'll be working on for the next few months, I already have yarn for, so I decided to just focus on those projects. Plus we have the Coburg or Marybeck Yarn Festival coming up. That's the Hand Knitters Guild of Victoria that hosts that market, and that is coming up in June. So I hope to see some of you there. That is really all that I have to share today, friends. All of the anything that I've referenced today will be linked in the description box below. So if you tap more and more, there should be links that can take you directly to anything that you might want to have a closer look at. If you have liked this episode, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing, because the number of subscribers you have helps your channel get into the algorithm stream so it can be noticed by other people. And I hope to just bring much more attention to the Australian yarn and wool craft industry from other people. So that's the whole purpose of my podcast. Anyway, until next time, I hope you have lots of cups of tea, cups of coffee, and copious knitting time, and have a fantastic day. Happy knitting!